Welcome to the Vault Excel. Thank you for your time. I didn't have plans to go live today because in relation to Summer Wells case, I'd already uploaded 2 live streams pertaining to Summer Wells, and I didn't feel the need to discuss her today because I'd already done 2 lives. But I decided, after being contacted by someone who watches YouTube and true crime, my spirit said, go ahead and say something. They like it. They either like it or they don't. It doesn't matter. But go ahead and speak your truth. I am not a true crime channel, as I have said before in my live streams. I uploaded content to YouTube in the summer of 2019, and I talked about various topics on the wire. So I didn't build this channel around true crime. But what I've come to see in talking about real life stories pertaining to disappearances and murder is that, as I've always said, that some of you are unhinged. A lot of you are not mentally stable who watch true crime, comment, and also those who are bringing the content. We have heard this many, many times in the past couple of years of those people on YouTube, Facebook groups, podcasters, that a lot of you are unhinged. You're just as unhinged as the people in the story, and you really don't have any business talking about true crime. A fan of Terry Lynn's sent me a message, and I think it needs to be addressed. Terry Lynn, there's somebody very disgusted with you, and they decided to reach out to the Queen for the obvious reason, because they know that I don't sugarcoat anything, and I try to show people when they're being hoodwinked and bamboozled. And this person, an elderly person who really don't have any business watching true crime because they're not mentally fit to be watching true crime. I realized that in the conversation a few minutes ago. They're not fit to be watching true crime, but they have believed in you and followed you, even though they know that there's been something not right with you, but they follow you for whatever reason. And as I told the person, if you saw signs that the person was fraudulent in their broadcast, then why are you following them? Why are you listening to the nonsense? You see, as I told this person, you should have known better a long time ago, but you still follow, listen, whatever the deal is online. And they're very upset. They about started crying on the phone with me just a few minutes ago. And I'm not going to reveal who the person is because that wouldn't be right for me to put their name on blast. But I'm going to read their message they sent to me about you and your live stream. It's disappointing. And this is what I keep trying to tell people. You don't know people. You don't know me. You don't know these other YouTubers who are bringing you information, who are immersing themselves in these cases. You don't know anything about them. And you're taking whatever they have to say at face value, even when you see signs that they're fraudulent and that they're seeking attention. And what is disturbing to me, Terry Lynn, is that this person told me your child had a terrible accident years ago. So what I'm trying to understand is what type of human being who's dealt with tragedy would come to YouTube and immerse themselves in true crime and sell their fans fake information. So you're probably wondering what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this search shit you keep doing. Searching a mattress pad. You tried to come up on the live a week ago when Jules was up here, the canine handler. Everybody knows how I rock. I don't get down with that back and forth stuff because I'm not into that street stuff. Like I said, if I want street problems, I'll go to the street. It's not going to go down on my channel, on the panel. Not now, not never. See, I knew something wasn't right with you then. Because the right thing to do, if you found something of relevance that you thought was pertaining to the Sebastian Rogers case, you would take it to law enforcement. Now I've got somebody in my inbox worrying the hell out of me about a fucking live you've done pertaining to pictures of Katie Proudfoot, which made no sense, which made no logical sense. I said to myself, I just let the person talk because I like people to talk so they can hear their own selves, not making any sense. And as I told the person, what is it that Queen is going to say to you in this conversation that's going to be relevant. You're going to keep following a person, crying and moaning about what they're doing. That's up to you. But I don't think there's anything I can say in the conversation that would be of relevance. But they're like, well, I trust you, Queen, and I just wanted you to just straighten my head out. Well, who am I to straighten their head out? And I told the person this. Who am I to help you straighten your head out? If you have any inkling that this person is fraudulent with their information pertaining to the case, you already have your answer. You already have your answer. You don't need Queen to tell you anything. You don't need me to sway you. I said, you went back in the belly of the beast with this person when they already showed you who they were years ago, and you went back in. That's a choice. So now this person is sitting up on the Queen's line, sickly, elderly, and about in tears over a Terry Lynn broadcast. Are you all hearing what I'm saying to you? It's pathetic. 1:27 a.m. to Queen this morning. Okay. I know you are tired of the true crime drama. I'm listening to your live after Athena's music tonight. I have known Terry Lynn, I'm going to scratch how long, but let's just say for some years. I joined her channel and have been listening a lot because I am old Queen and don't do much else these days. Anyway, she's gone just off the chain for me, way off the chain. On a live 2 nights ago, she said a lot, capital letters, L-O-T, a whole lot, all capital letters, that I found sus in the Sebastian Rogers case. Others questioned her, but since then, nobody has brought it up. I don't know what to do. So they sent me 2 messages after I replied, what was it? And I couldn't get it to come through because there was no sound. So then they go back down at 12:13 today to say to me, join us in the water, hashtag Sebastian Rogers, hashtag Vanish YouTube stream live, June 10th, 2024. So what they have done is screenshot some of the commentary out of your live stream. 501. What's odd that we found, and I'm going to go ahead and say because you know what I don't care anymore. I'm just so pissy right now. What about what I found? 506 and got thrown away. No, not that we're even discussing that. We're going to talk about the box and what it says on that box that we just 514 found. It's a whole ton of boxes. You know what it says. Katie Senior 522 pictures. Katie Senior pictures. Katie Senior pictures 531. Make that make some sense because I can't. The person says, I copied the transcript from her live chat just as it was said. Jesus, there is more. She had searched by herself and did not record it before she went live and said all this. There's more. She's talking to Erin, a girl who went with her and the people in the chat. Well, the fact it was with the 537, then we go down. Thing don't say that out loud. Don't say that we'll stay. 542. Pissy, y'all don't tell me that ain't weird. KTI Senior Pictures is on the 548 box. I'm telling y'all, we're getting the writing, we're taking pictures, and then it goes down to 623. I'm GNA posted, and they either gonna come get it or they're not. I don't give a damn at this point. Y'all can come get. Then it goes to 629. This blank, pick it up. I'm so. Then it goes down to 635. Pissy. Oh my God. What is it that you all are confused about with these YouTubers? I don't understand. As I told the person I was speaking to today, I said, I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't understand what the problem is. What is it that you all don't understand about these people who are bringing you information allegedly in these cases? They're just bringing you stuff that they heard or somebody passed along as gossip, rumor, or somebody put on a Facebook post, or somebody reaching out to them to say they've got the 411. So this case is no different than Summer Wells. It's the same BS. It took 3 months for somebody to decide to come out by the name of Bobby. Then we realized she's gone to school with Terry Lynn, allegedly. Then we hear that she's hopped up on Terry Lynn's panel, or called in rather. Don't you all see what's going on? What is it that you all don't see? What pisses me off is this is an old person very upset. And we know that when people get older, their mind reverts back to childlike. So if this was a 20-year-old wanting to follow Terry Lynn or these other crazy ass YouTubers, that'd be on them. I could care less. I could care less. But to listen to an elderly person, and I mean, when I talk about old, I mean older. I'm not talking about no damn kid. Sitting here about to cry, try calling the person back. They won't answer the phone because they said they're so upset and disturbed. So now they won't answer the phone. Like I told the person, what do you want the queen to do? I said, maybe you should say something. Maybe you should let people hear what you have to say, that you're upset, that you feel duped. And it doesn't mean that it would change other people's minds about her or any other YouTuber, podcaster, but maybe people will realize you need to stop listening to people that you realize are fraudulent. I believe, Terry, you're just going out here doing this shit for attention. And that's my personal opinion. I felt that way when it was mentioned in the chat about the mattress pad. Because the first thing I said is, well, if you found it, take it to the police. What's the conversation about? What's the big deal? Just take it to the police. The subject's over. Well, the police didn't want it, obviously. So we got to make a live stream about it. Now we've got some shit about Katie Proudfoot's pictures in a box. So what am I supposed to believe? She threw away her high school pictures. It was near a storage unit. Do you have proof? She had storage items in the storage unit, number one. Faith, putting faith into the live stream. Something about an airport. See, I don't follow you. I don't watch it. I don't have any need for that. Because I'm not thirsty like that. I'm not thirsty like that. And really, I shouldn't even be addressing this about any YouTuber. But it seems to me that you all want attention, so I'm going to give you what you want. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. That's what you want. Isn't that why you're up here? You want attention. You have to be involved in the case for some sick, perverted reason. Why? As I said before with the Jules situation, Jules didn't have any business responding to the mod. That's my personal opinion. I would have never responded. For what? But Jules said she wanted to be helpful in the case. Helpful in the case would be dealing with law enforcement and or Seth or the Proudfoots. But some random person calling you, messaging you, or sending a message by a mod to say, hey, I found something. I need you to come sniff it out with your dogs. I'd have never done that. I would have never done that. Hell no. And then it's cross-contaminated because it's been in a public place. People have touched it. Hell no. But that was on Jules. That's not my decision. Now I've got some elderly person in my inbox crying and moaning about a damn live stream. This is what I'm trying to make people understand. You cannot listen at every person who brings you content up here or Facebook group or podcast or anything because everything's a version. Even when the news brings us information, it's not to say that they don't mispronounce a name, misspell a name, that what the person is saying is not the truth because everything's a version. But to immerse yourself in a true crime case, to pretend you have information, evidence is abhorrent. It's abhorrent that you are this desperate and vile and sick to go live and profess things that are not true. Your ass needs to be checked verbally, and you need to be checked mentally. And as I told this person, you'll probably still listen to the content. You'll still be over there in the chat commenting until she realizes who you are and she blocks you. I said, stay away from her. Stay out the chat. Stop talking to the person. Keep it moving. What's the problem? It is sad. It's very sad. It's pathetic because I don't like using sad. Pathetic is what it is. Because there are people who don't have discernment. Luckily, Queen was born with discernment, but it doesn't mean I don't make mistakes with having discernment because everything's a choice. But this type of foolishness, I don't indulge in. I can go to YouTube Q right now and scroll endlessly through live streams, uploaded content pertaining to true crime. I don't necessarily have to open it up. Sometimes I open it up just to see what the people are talking about. But as soon as I feel like they're taking too long to get to the point, they're going around and around the rosies and shit, I go back out the video. Because my time is valuable to me. Obviously, some of you have a lot of free time. You have a lot of free time. Because if you're following behind people who are just dramatic 24/7, they're always bringing you some he said, she said. I mean, you got to use some common sense. Is this the truth, what they're selling me? Why am I listening to this? Do they have a real receipt? That's what you should be asking yourself, especially when they bring up guests, panels, people on the panel, got something to say. And I feel sorry for this lady because she doesn't have the type of discernment to realize she is being misled by Terry Lynn and God knows who else she follows. And Terry Lynn, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You know, you're doing the same bullshit the other YouTuber did. Oh, I like you, blah, 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 da, 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 da. You don't know me from a can of paint. Because if you like my work and respect my work, you'll realize I don't put out false information. I repeat what the news says, and I give you a source. And I always tell the fans, if you have a problem with the source, then you take it up with the source. You take it up with the source. But this is outrageous what's going on up here on YouTube. It needs to stop. But that's up to YouTube to put a stop to it. It's up to YouTube to put a stop to this fake information, lies, and shit. But when you hear a person speak about it and they're sitting here on the phone about crying because of this bullshit she's selling in a live stream, it shows you how real it is and how people really sit here and believe this stuff that you're doing. As I told this person, you go back and listen to my live stream with Jules, the canine handler, you'll see the foolishness play out during the live. People wanted her to come up, Terry Lynn. I wasn't letting her come up here to argue with another human being about a fucking mattress pad. That would be stupid on my part. That means I like the drama. I know better. Some of you can't see because you're blind. Because you're so thirsty and desperate for some information about a missing person, you're willing to let a person carry you a wet rag and say, oh, well, must be true. No, it's not true. When you hear the news, the sheriff's office TBI tells you that they found something relevant and they decide they want to tell you, then they'll tell you. If not, then they won't tell you. But this is pathetic to me. And nobody should be harassing these people, stalking these people, following them around. It's disrespectful. Whether you think they're involved in a disappearance or a murder, stop. But these people are so desperate for likes and views, they're willing to do anything. Run around in weeds and bushes, 100-degree weather for a fucking live with no evidence. So, Terry Lynn, we're going to ask you, why didn't you show the chat, the boxes that belong to a Katie, whoever the Katie is? Why didn't you show it on the live stream? Why are you running around doing this? Because to me, it shows there's something mentally wrong with you. You're unfit. That's why I said the other day in my live, who cares about who's from Hendersonville? That don't mean shit to me. Hendersonville, Nashville, Gallatin, Clarksville, who cares? What's the point? Who cares? I could care less. What are you saying of relevance? That's the point. And the fact that you've had tragedy in your life with your own child, that's even more pathetic. That you've faced adversity with your own child, and this is what you would do in your free time, is go on live streams pretending to find evidence. So let's go here. You found a mattress pad, and you want somebody to come search and look and sniff that out So we've gone from a mattress pad now to a box of pictures. And nobody can see what the fuck is going on here. That obviously you are thirsty and you're one of those people that like to make up shit for likes and views. You gotta be ashamed of yourself. You gotta be ashamed of yourself. And to me, people like you are a waste of space. Waste of space. Just a waste. Because you don't realize what you're doing to people who are gullible, who are sitting here listening at this bullshit, and they're following in behind you and sending you super chats and stickers and cash apps and PayPal to fund your fucking ass. And they're sitting up here crying because they feel duped by you and they feel like you're using them. But like I told this person, you have the option to turn it off. You don't have to listen at her. You don't have to listen at these other YouTubers. If you see anything fraudulent in their broadcast, turn it off. Or, hell, report the video. So all you have to do is report it. Just report it. A lot of you, you're sick. And you don't even realize how sick you are. But you just keep going on and on and on in these live streams, knowing the shit you're spreading, it's not true. And these people are still listening to your ass. That's what's so fucked up. Still listening, commenting. Like somebody said the other day, Angie's like it's like the occult. It is. It's like the occult. Going on and on and on, praising these people who are fraudulent and sick. And you see that they're sick and you're steady in the chat. And then you got the nerve to carry that shit over to somebody else's chat, which, like I said before, is disrespectful. Don't bring that shit over here. I don't want to hear it. All up in other people's chat, promoting other people. It's disrespectful to the creator. You're in their chat. You're there to hear what they have to say. Whether you like it or not, check out. You don't like what they're saying, check out. You want to unsubscribe? Unsubscribe. Because God knows it don't take much for you all to unsubscribe. You all unsubscribe over the stupidest stuff. Oh, you posted too many posts. I'm unsubscribing. Thank you. Get the hell out. It's my playhouse. Go get you a YouTube channel. You can do what you want on your channel. But this just shows you how barbaric the mindset is. Just absolutely barbaric. And I did this live because this person is an old person, older, and obviously has some health issues. And as I told the person, I don't think you should be watching true crime because you're not mentally equipped to watch it. Watch Dateline, where you can just watch it 1 hour, check out, move on to something else, or don't watch it at all. I said, but as far as the podcasters, the YouTube stuff, I don't advise you watching anything up here on YouTube. Just don't do it because you obviously can't discern what's truth and what is fiction. And nobody at this age should have that stuff jumbled up in their brain and getting themselves upset and crying and then having to reach out to me to try to get their mind right. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. And this is the very reason why I don't want my IG posted. I put it up for people to reach out to me who have some viable information in a case. And that's something that some of you all don't seem to understand. You have abused the IG just to talk about the true crime case. I really don't want to talk about the true crime case in my IG. That's what the YouTube channel is for. That's what the live streams are for. You could chat in the chat. You could come up on the panel. You could comment under the video and you could comment on the post. You don't need to contact me on IG to talk about Sebastian, Seth, Katie, and all that. For what? And I'm not trying to be rude, but that's my private box. That's mine. I own that. I own that. I prefer the IG to be used for somebody that has a story they want to bring to me. They want to bring me something factual. They have information in a case, perhaps. That's what I prefer you call me on IG for. Not for this nonsense here. I don't want to hear anything about these people on YouTube in my IG box. I'm just going to keep it real. Now, off to that nonsense. Summer Wells. As most of you know, today marks 3 years that she went missing from Rogersville, Tennessee. And what is interesting now is that yesterday morning, horse stables at Warrior Pass State Park burned. Now, is this any type of relevance, significance to her case? I don't know. But what I found interesting after learning about the fire during chat is that her vigil is going to be held at the state park, which I found very interesting. I said, well, wait a minute. First, somebody notifies me about the fire in the chat. Look it up. It did happen right before 5:30 a.m. Different agencies responded to horse stables burning. Then later in the afternoon, I was doing my little research, pulling up information pertaining to Summer Wells, and poof, voila. During the live, here I have information that her vigil is going to be held there. So, will we find out that the horse stables were deliberately set or it was an accident? TBI is currently investigating. That's another interesting part of the story. Why is TBI investigating the fire? Anybody have any ideas? Obviously, somebody's not on tune to this live stream. Thank you, Jane. Every fucking live stream is the same bullshit. Some very sick people out here. Very sick. And the sad part is some of you don't know that you're not mentally capable, stable.
3 years since Summer Wells disappeared from her home in the Beech Creek community in Hawkins County.
Today, people in Rogersville gathered to show they have not forgotten about her. Despite repeated searches using canines and drones and people, Summer has not been found. Law enforcement last updated the public last year when the TBI released an age-progressed photo of her.
News Channel 11's Jayana Scurry was at the Stand for Summer event today and reveals how the community feels 3 years later.
Missing children advocates and content creators from all over gathered together to remember Summer Wells and spread awareness about her disappearance.
We're trying to make a statement for Summer, and what we wanted to do was actually see that the law enforcement here in the county know that we're still standing strong for Summer, that we want to be her voice.
Burita Phillips runs a YouTube channel called Sharing and Caring with Miss Chewy, where she discusses true crime, domestic violence, and missing children. That's how she connected with many other content creators who do the same, like Evelyn Jenkins from Kentucky.
If we don't, who is? These kids become cold cases. And, you know, if there's nobody keeping their name out there and putting their picture out there and putting their flyer out there, who is?
Content creators from as far as England came to spread awareness about Wells and other locally missing people. Phillips appreciates the support from far and wide.
We need everybody, anybody. Just the average person can take flyers and distribute flyers, or just saying Summer's name to somebody and letting them know that she's been gone for 3 years. We're not giving up hope. We don't think she's deceased. We don't. We're hoping and praying every day that she'll come home.
Summer's Day, the third annual vigil on the anniversary of her disappearance, will take place at Warriors Path State Park at 4 p.m.
Summer doesn't have a voice. We have to be her voice. And if we don't do it, nobody's going to do it.
In Rogersville, Jayana Scurry, News Channel 11.
So, Warriors Path, 4 p.m. How interesting. Stables burned down, and her vigil will be there at 4 o'clock today, Eastern Standard Time. 1:43 here now. Very interesting. TBI currently investigating the fire. Yeah, that's all you can stand, Elizabeth. Because 50,000 cases at once is too much. Is there a connection between the fire and this vigil and the case? Will they find out it was just an accident? Maybe somebody was smoking a cigarette. Somebody was trying to stay warm, camping out there, sleeping there, homeless person, transient person. They set a fire in there where they could be, hidden. But the fire got out of control. What's the truth? TBI unsure if Summer Wells was abducted or not. 19 hours ago, WJ Jail is the source.
3 years after her disappearance. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sarah Diamond.
And I'm Casey Marler. The investigation has captured the attention of many people in our region and beyond. Summer was 5 years old when she was first reported missing.
Oh, sounds crazy.
From her Hawkins County home in 2021. An Amber Alert remains active for her.
The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation took to X this morning to share the latest on the search for Summer Wells. News Channel 11's Ansley Daniel has followed this investigation since the Amber Alert was first issued. Ansley, what did TBI say nearly 3 years later?
Yeah, there were a few takeaways from that video released today. The case is far from cold. They aren't speculating, and they still don't know whether Summer Wells was abducted or just walked away from her home.
This case is one that we've just not been able to overcome, and it's troubling.
Since June 15th of 2021, no one knows what happened to then 5-year-old Summer Wells.
We don't have the evidence in this case to know for sure whether or not Summer was abducted or whether or not she walked away from her home and became lost.
The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says it's received more than 6,500 tips.
We continue to focus on ground search efforts. We continue to focus on interviews of those who may have information about vehicles that have traveled through the area or technology that could have been used that may give us an investigative lead.
Even though there haven't been any public developments, Melton says this case is far from cold.
A cold case is typically framed up as a case where there are no tips or leads that are coming in, and there are no investigative efforts that are happening because there is no place to travel with the investigation.
Rumors circulate about what happened to the little girl after she vanished from her home in Hawkins County. But the TBI says speculation is not part of this investigation.
The difficult part of the speculation is that if we as investigators speculate and focus our efforts in one direction, we're making a huge mistake.
The TBI isn't the only agency working the case. The investigation is in collaboration with the FBI and the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. The Hawkins County Sheriff, Ronnie Lawson, didn't return our calls or emails for this story. The Wells family also has their own private investigators. And while law enforcement has no idea where this little girl is 3 years later, they're determined to find out.
It is a monstrous task, but it's one that's not overwhelmed us. We have been strategic in the way that we've handled this investigation.
The private investigators working this case didn't want to go on camera, but they did release a statement to News Channel 11 saying, quote, Summer's case is our #1 priority. We continue to work on her case daily, but at this time, we have nothing further to add.
Ansley, thanks. So this evening, people are gathered at Rogersville City Park in Hawkins County for an event called Standing for Summer in honor of Summer Wells. We'll have more coverage of that event tonight at 11 o'clock.
All right, that was yesterday. Alleged content creators don't know these women, don't care to know them. Nothing, not to be rude. Queen is not interested in any podcaster, YouTuber on the ground talking about anything, especially with what's been said and what I have seen over the past couple of years and talking about true crime in Summer Wells' case, Camille McKinney, the West case, and now Summer Wells, and now also Sebastian Rogers. I'm just not interested in anyone's content, because all I'm seeing is just fraudulent people who are just doing things for attention and just making it a mockery out of the missing person. And basically that's what a lot of you have done. You've made a mockery out of these children missing. You don't give two fucks about them. You don't care anything about the truth. And as you heard this assistant director speaking for the TBI, they cannot focus on one speculation. That wouldn't be advised. So naturally, they're going to focus on different angles of a case, possible angles in a case, because that's true. You can get yourself wrapped up in what you think happened, and maybe it didn't happen. A lot of us believe that Candace Bly and Donald Wells are behind the disappearance of the child, but then there's that percentage that it could be something else. Child wandered off, got hurt, accident covered up by the parents, accident by the brothers, deliberate. You don't know, because we weren't there. All we can judge is the behavior from the parents, which has been very suspect and nonchalant, and just a bunch of rhetoric on YouTube. And as I have said before, this really isn't the platform to come out on. It seemed like it would be a good idea. Oh, go to a YouTuber and tell them your story or share something. But all you're getting is just a bunch of lies from people. This is why a lot of people believe this child was hurt by the parents, because you haven't been truthful and factual in your information. And now you want to put the blame on DHS, as I played you that content earlier. Mr. Wells is implying that the state took Summer because he had a case open pertaining to her or the children in general. And what are the odds that his child will go missing the next day? So you can't even listen to anything that he says. He felt like, oh, they were hard on us and in our face and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's the first time you ever heard that he and Candace felt targeted by the sheriff's department and the state of Tennessee. All these years of jumping on panels and talking rhetoric and nonsense, they never told the public that. Oh, we felt targeted. Now you're hearing 3 years later, they feel targeted. Well, maybe because they feel like you all are responsible, that you know something, you know more. And we have realized with the content coming from Candace and the dispatch call and the interview she gave, the first one, she didn't stick to the same story. She never mentioned to the news that Boy H was with her that day. She never mentioned the places she went during that interview. She puts the case at the house. And that's not factual. And the reporter should have thought about that. You're supposed to ask her, well, what did you do today? Tell me how your day started. See, Candace wouldn't have wanted to tell that because she'd have to put Boy H in the story. She'd have to spin that story from Rogersville to Kingsport to all the places she went, who was in her vehicle, and her return home. And we don't have proof that the child even returned home. Just keeping it real. We have no proof. So to me, that's the suspect in itself. You start the story off at the house. But when Chris Madonna talks to Boy H, He tells us of his day with her coming to the house, and all the places they went. So, Candace, why didn't you tell that to the news? Because it seemed like to me that would have been more factual. Is to start your day off. Tell the news lady how your day started. One moment, please. Thank you all so much for following this content and my fans who follow the network. And I really want to thank those who believe in what I do up here and bringing you information. But as I said, everything's a version. So whatever you hear, either by a source, a news article, or a news entity, it does not mean it's factual, but it's their version. But I try my best not to spread any false information. But that's the whole point. Once again, that everything's a version. So whether it goes to the news or not, it's somebody speaking. And people can lie, and people will lie. So you have to use your own discernment in the information that you hear. But the one thing you will not get at this network are made up tales pertaining to people or true crime. I don't do it. I've never done it, and I'm not going to start. And I'm not going to be running around with a phone in 100-degree heat pretending I found something, saw something, make it seem like it's related to the case. That was a fluke with Raleigh Strain and finding that bank card. That was a fluke. Rarely does that shit happen. I think I've only heard of it twice. Raleigh Strain and the bank card. It's very rare people find anything of relevance to a case. But what you don't do is immerse yourself in a case pretending to be helpful, and you're bringing factual, fraudulent information, deliberate lies to get attention. Because to me, that's the behavior of a sociopath. For those of you who don't know what a sociopath is, that's sociopathic behavior. To pretend to find evidence. Running around chasing people with iPhones and shit like you're really a reporter, a news agent, and you're not. You know, putting it on your baseball cap and sitting in front of a camera, a live stream with a fucking coffee mug, that's not factual, and you're not a reporter. And there's no way in the world I'm getting ready to follow anybody that hounds people, stalks people, harasses people, get in their inboxes, stalking them, harassing them, stalking them on Facebook group pages. That is not appropriate behavior. And I wouldn't accept it from a news reporter. Investigative reporter. You have to know when to lay low. You bang on the door, you bang on the door. They don't want you to come in. They want you off the property. Then get the fuck on. Get on. Because what people don't understand about doing that type of work, whether you a PI, investigative reporter, you wouldn't want it done to you. You wouldn't want it done to you. One second, everybody. The horse stables being burned nearly to the ground, to structures. Is it relevant to this case, or it's just a busybody? Just a busybody trying to make it seem relevant. Burning down the horse stables. Is it somebody angry that that's where the child allegedly last was? They assume she died there, hurt there, cover up. Stay woke. 4 o'clock vigil at this Warrior State Path. And once again, horse stables burned down yesterday before 5:30 a.m. TBI investigating. Is there some relevance, or this is just a fluke, accidental fire? What is the truth? What will TBI find in their investigation of the fire. The link is in the chat. If you have something you'd like to say pertaining to this Rogersville case, Rogersville case of Summer Wells, the fire, her disappearance now 3 years with no new information, no arrests, no nothing, the statement from TBI, and also the degrading in the Sebastian Rogers case, the incessant meddling and lies being spun by YouTubers for likes and views. That is the content of this live stream. Thank you for your time. Well, Elizabeth, ashamed is more like it. Not embarrassed, ashamed. Utterly, it's just shameful. I can think of 1,000 words. You gotta be ashamed of yourself. I don't know how you sleep at night doing some shit like that. Because there's no way I'm gonna go out here and make up stuff about a case. Because what people don't understand is that's a whole human you're talking about. And then you have family members, whether you like them or not, you know, the parents, Seth, the Proudfoots, all the rhetoric that they've, you know, spewed out here on social media. You either believe it or you don't believe it, care about what they're saying. At this point, it don't even matter about what they're saying. That's how bad the case has turned as far as on social media. I don't know what the law enforcement have. It's not my job to know. All I can speak on is what I'm seeing by the people sharing content and people commenting. It's vile. And it shows you what the world is made of. That's what nobody's really paying attention to. It's that when you're looking at the comments, when you're looking at what the people are uploading, they're just showing you what the world is made of. What is walking around beside you, behind you, next door to you. Unhinged people. People who are not mentally stable. That's what I'm seeing up here on social media. That's why I keep trying to tell people, social media is just an extension of what exists in the world. Nothing more, nothing less. People not mentally stable. Oh. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Terry. No morals. Yes. I sure hope no one set fire to the stables that's connected to Summer's case. I sure hope no one set fire that plan on collecting insurance either. I hate to hear. Well, it's a state park, so it would have to be the government collecting money. If it's state ran. State park. So as I said, several situations pertaining to the stables. Could be an accident. Somebody was staying there to stay warm, passing through, camping out, lit a fire or lit a match, smoked a cigarette, threw out the cigarette, caught fire, deliberate. Somebody mad at somebody that, you know, maybe somebody that worked at the park at one time, don't know. See, we have to wait to see what TBI has, if it's intentional or accidental. It's sure not a playground for folks to play around on social media, that's for sure. Well, that's what people use social media for. It's now a platform to do what you want, say what you want, harass people, stalk people, dox people, put their personal information out here, tell personal things about them. That's what social media has become. As you see here, you have a platform. You can talk about the latest events. You give your opinion. Doesn't mean that people will agree, but it's just that, an opinion. But there's a difference between your opinion and you saying you know for a fact. Or you say, no, that didn't happen, but you don't have any proof. You're just giving your opinion, but you're stating it as a fact. Well, that's not factual. That's your opinion. And immersing yourself in the case, stalking and doxing these people and following these people around, that's a sign that you have a fucking mental problem. That's my personal opinion. And I'm going to keep saying it, whether I talk about true crime or not. You have a mental problem. When you make up stuff for content, you know the people don't exist. The situation never took place. The conversation never took place. There's something wrong with you. You have a mental problem. And people like that are dangerous. I don't care what anybody says. I've seen a lot of YouTubers up here who I wouldn't give them a glass of water if they were thirsty. That's how I feel about them. I wouldn't give them a glass of water if they were thirsty. They know magic. Make a bottle of water appear. Just saying. Make it appear. Because there's something wrong with you. You think it's okay to make up these wild ass stories and bring up these fraudulent people who don't know anything about anything. And people just fall for it and fall down. Oh, it must be true. Oh, they're on a panel. It's sickening. And it's disgraceful because there's somebody missing out here. Somebody dead and they need justice. And this is what you would do in your spare time. Pretending to care. You don't care. You don't even care about yourself. Let's be truthful. If you do this to another human being, you do this to their family members, those who do actually care about the victim, you don't care about yourself because you don't even care about self-preservation because you see, self-preservation is first and foremost with or without the story. You should care about yourself, your livelihood, your reputation, the image you're portraying up here, social media, wherever. Now, we are all flawed. We can get jiggy, cuss. But the point is, when every time you open your mouth, it's something that's a lie coming out. Every time you talk, that's a problem. You're putting on for the masses, the camera, making up stuff, fabricating stuff, stalking people, doxing people. There's something wrong with you. You need to get your ass some mental care. And then what's even worse, these people have children. They have grandchildren. And they have the nerve. They sit up on live streams for hours talking about their life. Oh, my kid, my grandkid, my baby, my husband. I wouldn't want you as a mother or a father. I wouldn't want you as a sister or brother. I wouldn't want you at all. And I'm sure there's probably some people who could probably come up here and tell you some nice little stories about these heathens. Oh, honey, let me tell you about this little YouTuber. I'm sure everybody got a tale to tell about somebody. And I'm sure the one thing you're going to hear is that they lie a lot. Oh, honey, she's never told the truth about anything. She's always told lies. This is nothing new. She's always lied. Imagine that. Summer Wells missing 3 years from the holler. Brothers in state's custody. One brother will probably be an adult soon. Will he reunite with his family, the Wells? Some will say, why would he want to? Well, they're still his parents, whether we like them or not, care for them or not. Where are the boy children? How are they doing? Are they excelling well in school? Are they happy, content? Are they being treated exceptionally well? I've always wondered about that. If the boys are being treated well, their happiness. I don't know, September. I don't know anything about the horse stables. I have no idea. Maybe they burned it because there weren't any horses in there. Who knows? This is a psychopath fire starter out here starting fires. Who knows? We'll just wait to see what the TBI has to say about the fire. That's all we can do is wait on their findings. You're welcome. No new updates in either case. Sad, but it's true. No new updates. Well, that's my content pertaining to Sebastian and Summer. Thank you. Thank you, question. I don't know where either case is going. Both seem hopeless, especially with Summer's case because hers is the longest. What they have pertaining to Sebastian, I don't know, investigators. I'm hoping they have something viable and they are doing their best to solve the case. I pray it does not become a cold case, and I pray that Summer's case does not become a cold case. If there was still hay within those stables and with the heat and the sun, it all will catch fire. Yes, it will. I don't know, Angela. I thought they were together in the beginning, but who knows? You know, it's a lot to take in 3 children at one time in a foster home. And then, you know, things do change depending on the parent, if they want to keep the kid or not, if the kid is behaving, non-behaving, because people will get rid of children for no reason. And if all 3 boys were in a home together, they could easily have been separated at some point. You have a wonderful weekend as well, September. Hope you all are having a wonderful weekend. Very warm here in the high 10. Very, very warm. So as I said yesterday, if you're going to be out, please stay hydrated. Wear sunscreen. What did I say yesterday? Suntan lotion. I meant to say sunscreen. Sorry about that. Make sure you are covered up. You wear your sun visors and drink plenty of water. So 2-part live. Degrading Hendersonville missing boys case. Summer Wells and Warrior Path horse stables fire. Those are the 2 topics for this live stream. It's a sad day. Of course, many people don't believe the child wandered off. That was disturbing news as well. TBI, 1 minute the mother is saying she's in the basement playing, and then a TBI statement says she's outside with no shoes on. So which is it? That's because the mother gave different versions. That's obvious. So you have to ask yourself, how many versions did she give law enforcement pertaining to Summer Wells? Then we heard that she left the property. That's in the dispatch call. So now that's 3 different versions. Child wandered off. Child was outside with no shoes on. Child was in the basement. Mother left the property. So think about that. How many versions did Candace Bly give law officials pertaining to the disappearance of her child? Did she try to implicate other people, other neighbors, the children? What did the children tell law officials? Did they tell them they saw their sister that evening? See, you don't know what she told them about that day. You have what she told Chris Madonna. You have Boy H's version. But see, what you don't know is what she told the police. That's what people need to always understand about a story. What I told YouTube does not mean that's what I told the police, because you already got 3 different versions from back then. That's why she made a point of telling that reporter, oh, I don't like bears and coyotes. She didn't ask you about what you like. She's talking about your child. She's not talking about you. So she wanted to make sure to get that out because that's what she told the dispatch. And she don't know if Ansley girl heard the dispatch call or not. See, You always have to pay attention to what people say during an interview and in their rendition of what they saw, didn't see, what they heard. She was telling on herself then. Let me go ahead and throw that out there. I don't like bears and coyotes, snakes. Okay, but she's not talking about you. She's not asking you, Candace, did you wander off? Do you wander off? She's asking you about your child. So see, that was a slip up right there. That's why I said you don't know how many times she has spoken to law officials, how many times they're interrogated, and what version she gave in the beginning. I have a feeling Candace has given more than one version. That's obvious. Because the 911 call, the TBI statement, and her news interview, those are all three different things that are never repeated in either commentary. Stay woke. None of those stories intertwine in every interview. Chris Madonna's interview with her, the news interview, none of that's mentioned. They all are said at different times. This is why I know she's lying. I know Candace had to have left the kids alone for much longer than she says, or Summer never made it home that day. Well, what you also have to ask yourself, how many times has she left her boys alone, period? Because, see, that's a part of the story that's relevant. What are the odds that a child is gone with their mother all day to only come back to be kidnapped in the middle of nowhere, but yet 3 boys were on top of that hill alone? Why didn't the kidnapper take any of those children? So you gotta prove a kidnapper was there. You gotta prove they hid out. You gotta prove why they were there. Why wouldn't they take the boys? Because in the end, as I have said before in my commentary, if you're paying attention to the story, Summer looked like a boy. They shaved her head down. Ding, ding, ding. So in order for me to say somebody was there, prove it. There were boys there all day. So I want to abduct a child. Let's say I'm not choosy about the child. You had a choice of 3. And she looks like a boy. Stay woke. So see, you don't know. That's why you know all this is fraudulent. Because she looked like a boy. So if you want to say it was a random person driving by, let's say she was outside playing near the road and she didn't have on girly clothes. Well, she would be looking like a boy. Checkmate. You all better pay attention. That's always been relevant. And a lot of people didn't catch that at first. If it's a random stranger out gawking and looking through the woods and she doesn't have on girl clothes, they're going to assume that's a boy. So if they're eyeing the house for a boy, they had 3 they could have picked up that day while Candace was gone. Ding, ding, ding. But they didn't. So let's say they knew this short-haired girl is a girl. So what? They're walking around the property, watching and waiting for a little girl to come outside, and they're going to sit out there in the fucking heat all damn day? Come on now. You never thought about that. June was hot. It's always hot here in June. What are the odds of some stranger that's camping around the house waiting for a little short-haired girl to come outside? I'll wait. Dogs don't bark. So what do we have? Deaf mute dogs? How did you get there? Bicycle, tricycle, car, van, truck? You willing to park your car on the side of the road so people can notice your car, get your tag numbers down the road? You have a lot of nosy parkers. The first thing somebody's going to say is, well, why is this car parked here? They have a driveway. Bingo car. Stay woke. So you have to deduct everything logical. Now, could the child have wandered down chasing a ball, a cat, a dog, and creepy crawly comes driving by, sees her, jumps out, grab her? Of course. So then it probably would be hard to catch the person. They just picked her up at the driveway, let's say. But how ironic would that be? Most would say, wow, that is a fluke. Gone all day, and then she wanders down the driveway and gets kidnapped. What are the odds? Exactly. What are the odds? Well, that's the point. You don't have any proof that she made it home. You don't have proof of planting flowers. You don't have proof of anything. It's a made up story. My opinion. Because you don't have any proof to anything. They never showed us CCTV footage of the child out and about with the mother. So one would say, well, she never got out of the car until she got to the swimming hole. If you even believe that took place. The mother uploaded content to, I believe, TikTok of the little girl in the water. So if she went live, it would have a timestamp of that day. But other than that, you don't know all the places they went. You don't know if the child made it home or not. And that's what's relevant. You got to have some proof to say that the version she gave of planting flowers and the girl walking into the house are true. Who's going to prove it? Cell phone data? Well, that don't really mean much either. Anybody can leave a phone somewhere and not take the phone. Have a burner phone. We also learned they did have other phones. And conveniently, a phone didn't work the day her child goes missing. But yet she and Don have had altercations up there on the hill. So how did you dial out then? Stay woke. Too many questions and no answers. Well, there wouldn't be any urgency to find her because that's the point of losing something. I lost it for a reason. So why am I going to go look for something I wanted gone in the first place? And now that we hear of an open CPS case, if you want to believe that's true, allegedly about them having guns, don't know if that's true. So if it is true, who called it in saying they had guns around their children? Who called that in? So then that still makes no sense if you're going to believe that version from Don in the interview from this week. Then why would the state leave the children in their care after they report Summer missing? So see, that makes no sense. You have an open case allegedly for guns. I'm assuming it's for, it doesn't make any sense. Open CPS case about guns. And then the girl goes missing the next day. And he waits 3 years to tell us this version. Blaming CPS for taking all their children, basically. Then why would the state leave the kids in your care with an open CPS case? Oh, let him tell it they closed it. I forgot. They closed the case on the Monday, and she was gone on Tuesday. Excuse me. Yeah, they're liars. Well, what's going on, Wanda? You have people who don't need children. That's what's going on. People have checked out or were checked out before the child was born or during pregnancy or after pregnancy, because many things can change from the time you get pregnant until the time you give birth. And a lot of people are just not equipped to raise kids for whatever reason. Mental issues, getting in trouble with the law, housing issues, relationship issues. All those things can affect the mindset in child rearing. It's just a lot of people don't need children. And as I said, there's nothing wrong with saying I'm not the motherly type, fatherly type. A lot of people aren't. But a lot of people can't admit it either. So where you have the problem is, you're not the motherly type, fatherly type, or you're just not ready to have children. You like children, but you're just not ready to have them or raise them. Then stop producing them. You have control over your private parts. The government doesn't have control over your vagina and your penis. So you don't want to have any children, don't have them. You don't want to keep having children, stop having them. Close your legs, get birth control. What's the problem? Can't say, this isn't working out for me, but you got 4 or 5 kids. That doesn't make any sense. And you're bringing kids here unnecessarily. They don't have to be here. They don't have to exist in a troubled household. They're already in a troubled society. They're trusting you to do right by them, but you don't want them. That makes no sense to me. You know, it's like having a bunch of kids and all of them you gave up for adoption. Then you finally have your 5th or 6th kid. Now you want to keep that kid. So people looking like, well, why you want to keep this kid? You got rid of all your other ones. See, the behavior is ridiculous. But you see this every day with people and kids. And a lot of you think because you keep your kids that you're better than the people who gave up their kids. No, you're not. Oh, let's make sure we clear that up. We know that's not true. Just from watching the true crime cases. Because all these children who are being abused, ding, 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 their mommy and daddies kept them. Because you hear people always say that, you know. Oh, how could you get rid of a baby? How could you get rid of a baby? Well, how can you abuse your child? What's the difference? You think it's okay to keep the kid and abuse the kid? That makes no sense. You don't get a stamp of approval because you kept your kid. A lot of us been kept by people. That don't mean the people wanted you. Say it again, Queen. Because somebody kept you does not mean they wanted you. They did what they knew was expected of them. Give you a bath, comb your hair, buy you clothes, but that doesn't mean I care for you. I'm just doing what's expected of me. Really, I could give 2 fucks about you. I don't want you here. I don't like you. I didn't want to be pregnant with you, but I'm doing what's expected of me. See, there's a difference. And that's what you have here in true crime. I'm doing what's expected of me, but I don't like you. I don't want you, never wanted you. Mad at the baby daddy, mad at the baby mama, mad at my marriage, mad. Mad that I don't have a place to live. Mad that I'm homeless. Mad that I don't have all the things I want. Mad because I didn't finish school, didn't go to school, don't have a degree, don't have a high school diploma. Mad at myself. Mad that I'm a fuck up. Mad that my life hasn't turned out. Now I'm stuck with these fucking kids. Checkmate. That's true crime. That's reality. Mad. I'm mentally disabled. I'm bipolar. There's something wrong with me. I'm schizophrenic. I'm fucked up. I keep staying in trouble. I got a drug problem. I'm an alcoholic, but I got kids. So as you see, you keeping your child means nothing. Because everybody was kept at some point by an adult. But it doesn't mean they loved you. It doesn't mean they did right by you. And I think a lot of people have that conception screwed up. I raised my kid, but did you do a good job? Maybe we should talk to your child. We might get a different version. You were aloof, vague, despondent. You cared more about getting high, drinking, having sex, bringing in different partners in your house, running away, leaving your children alone, not feeding them. Shopaholics. Not taking care of your children, not feeding them, not clothing them. But you kept them. Running around with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Hanging in the streets, running around. Not coming home. Throwing your kids off on your mom, on your dad, on your grandmother, on your auntie. Nothing wrong with you. Not physically disabled. You just don't want to be bothered. Taking bags of cereal and clothes over to somebody else's fucking house to leave your kids all damn day and night. Hell, sometimes you don't even show up to pick your damn kids up. And the ultimate, leaving the children alone for extended periods of time. But you are keeping your child. Abuse is abuse. Nobody's perfect. There's no guidebook on how to child rear. You don't know if you're going to be able to do it until you get in those shoes. But God have mercy. If you realize it's not for you, you're having difficulty for whatever reason, because as they say, you're not in people's shoes, then you do the right thing by the child and pass the baton to somebody else. Now, naturally, there's no guarantee that the child will live a better life be taken care of, be loved, but you did what you had to do at that time. And I have more respect for a person who decides they cannot do it, because it's wrong to keep the child and mistreat the child. So you can't sit up on a throne and say, well, I kept my child, but you didn't do a good job. Because a lot of people like to fluff it and deflect. Well, I did the best I could. Well, was your best enough? Because that's your interpretation. I did the best I could. But if you knew you were abusing your kid, verbally, mentally, sexually, bringing people around, touching your children inappropriately, and you knew, then how is that your best? It's not your best. Cussing your children out, beating your kids up with sticks and rocks and stones, belts, leaving welts and bruises on your child where they can't sit down. You know better. Beating your kid up, slapping them in the face, cursing them, telling them you didn't want them, wish they weren't born. Is that you? But you kept your child. Locking your child out of the house in the cold, in the warm weather. Why? Talking bad about your children to people. Ding, ding, ding. Flashback. You might get a flashback on that. Berating your children in public. Oh, he doesn't do this. He don't clean his room. He's nasty. He's filthy. He stinks. He's this. How's that right? Favoritism. Oh, we're going to go there now. Favoring one child over the other for whatever reason. Skin color, hair texture. You like one baby daddy over the other one. So now you're mad. So now you're blaming your child because you don't like the fucking baby daddy. Well, the child didn't ask to come here. He didn't choose you either. Checkmate. Same thing for you, baby daddy. You don't get a pass. Mad at the baby mama. Now you don't want the kid because you're having problems with her. She wants child support, this and that. See, the list goes on and on. Why we have troubled souls out here. This is why a lot of us act fucked up. Because we're carrying old wounds with us and we ain't let it go. So this is why you have to pray for the children, because these children that we are now worried about, concerned about, can grow up to be a fucked up adult. And the cycle continues to repeat itself. It's a generational curse. Because we have empathy when they're children. Oh, he was abused, he was hurt. But then when he becomes an adult and he's out here robbing, stealing, beating up people, raping people, now we're angry. Oh, he's horrible. He's a horrible person. But we didn't think about how he was treated either, because most people won't care. What do I care? He's grown now. He's got to act right. But you can't act right if ain't nobody told you how to act right. Just saying. Because we're judgmental creatures. Nature of the beast. So this is why children need to be loved, nurtured. Now. Doesn't mean start acting out as a child. Tantrum. While he or she's in your care, the best that you can. But you can have good parents, decent parents. They believe in God. They go to church. They feed their children. They love them. They congratulate them. They keep them in activities. But it doesn't mean the child won't act out. It's a double-edged sword. But that's why you get your child care therapy and you do the best that you can. And at some point, if you see you can't go any further, then that's when you have to involve the state. It is what it is. And this is why children need to understand. Nobody's perfect. Your life won't be like that guy's life across the street, that kid's life across the street. Because sometimes you think the grass is greener when it's not. Because you don't know everybody's story. And sometimes things are just what they are, an illusion. That goes for children, that goes for adults. Oh, Gina, please stop. We're in sad times. We're definitely in sad times. But I pray for this child, Summer Wells, wherever she is. And I pray that if she is not alive, if she's not alive, then there will be justice for her in whomever, or plural, did something they had no business doing. As for Sebastian Rogers, the sentiment is the same. If the child is not alive, may there be justice in his case. And if you are somebody that is a podcaster, YouTuber, Facebook group, or you talk about it on social media, don't spread lies about a case. You can give your opinion, but you can't say you know for sure you don't know, because you weren't there. And you are a fraud if you're up here misleading people in the audience just so you can get a like and a view and a cash out. As I said, YouTube is a business. We don't have to keep going on and on about that. It is a business. YouTube makes money off of us regardless. And that's what a lot of people need to understand. Doesn't matter what you talk about. YouTube gets paid regardless. So if you're going to judge the creator, you need to judge YouTube. And if you have a problem with YouTube, then you probably should stop watching YouTube, because you can't have one without the other. That's why it's called YouTube. It's allowing people to upload content. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree. But if you feel like it's fraudulent, they're spreading misinformation, lies, then you should report the content. That's only right. Now, many of you will report the video just because you just don't like the creator. But the point is, if you see that there's lying, spreading false information, hell yeah, it should be reported. Because it's not helping the case. And it's not helping get the word out by spreading lies. And some of you are shameful up here. You're just utterly shameful. You have no shame. You don't care about the case. You don't care about the kids. You're just doing shit for attention, which shows me you're fucked up. And you're just as fucked up as the motherfucker that got the kid gone, if indeed the kid was gone by another human being. You are one and the fucking same, and that's my opinion. And I stand on it. You are no different. Because to use a child's case or any case of a human, missing or dead, and spread lies and misinformation deliberately, you are sick. And you need help. And what I've always said, if you do this, what else are you capable of? Because the one thing some of you don't seem to understand about true crime, these people are missing for a reason. They're dead for a reason. So these people who have killed them, unalive them, who do you think they are? They're just like these YouTubers. You better pay attention. They are one in the same. Say it again, Queens, they don't hear you. They are one in the same. The plotting, the sneaking around, the doxing, the lying, the misrepresentation and texting and emails and pretending to be somebody, using a dead person's phone to text messages to loved ones to make them think they're alive. It's diabolical. So when a YouTuber does the same, the doxing, putting out people's personal information, pretending to be them, getting 17 different burner phones to chat in the chat, change their username profiles every 5 fucking seconds, chat members, you're the same. going into Google every 5 fucking seconds to comment to change your name. You are just like the perpetrator. You are one in the same. You are sinister. And I have no respect for you. Thank you for this live stream. God bless you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for my 1,300 plus new subscribers. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay hydrated. Drink you plenty of water. Please go into YouTube queue to check out my shorts. I will be uploading several shorts this afternoon and evening. And also take the polls on my community page pertaining to Gypsy Rose, Leah Thomas, transgendered swimmer who's been barred from competing in women aquatics. Put your comments below the videos. And you all have a wonderful weekend. Prayers for Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers. You have been listening to the Vault XL.